Hi guys, I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about coin roll hunting and what to look for. I started collecting way back in 1966, and after about 12 years, I put it on hold as I moved across the country and started a family, a couple of businesses and such. But I still kept my eyes open and dealt with a couple of big dealers in the Phoenix area. But I notice on average when people are penny roll hunting, they're finding 10, 15, upwards of. I've seen a couple of videos where people have actually found 30 or so wheat pennies in a $25 box, 2,500 pennies, and I've been averaging 14 to 15. Some have been averaging less than that, and say you average 10 a box, it's still going to take you 5 boxes to get a roll of pennies. And an average roll of wheat pennies you can buy for $2.50, on upwards a little bit higher, but it depends on who you buy them from. Uh, I think since this is called coin roll hunting, yeah, I think people ought to be hunting just a little more aggressively. And I'll just talk about 4 dates: the '92, the '98, the '99, and the 2000. Uh, you know, from 1959 to 1992, it was the wide AM in America, between the A and the M. And to my knowledge, I think there's been two close AMs found of the 1992 year, and from '94 to 2008, it's a close AM. And I'll show you some examples here too. But uh, between '92, '98, '99, and 2000, those are the coins that you ought to be pulling out. I probably pull out, I can't really give you specifically an average, but in the last 4, 5 boxes, I pulled out at least probably $6 or $7 in '92's, eights, nines, and 2000s. But here's an example of a close AM. And the other thing also is you got to really tilt that coin in the light, because sometimes a close AM can look. Uh, I mean, I'm sorry, a wide AM can look closer than it really is because of a plating bubble, a die wear, maybe a die chip. But the true wide AM, in the '98, '99, and 2000, the true wide AM is also going to be depicted by the closeness of the initials of the designer to the memorial. They're closer on the wide AM than they are on the close AM. But here's a close AM, and here's another example. Here's a wide AM versus the close AM. Now, some wide AMs don't quite have, or don't look or appear to have, that much of a gap between the A and the M. And you got to really look at it closely. Of course, a good loop would help you. I'm getting a little bit older, so I just purchased an AmScope stereo microscope, and because I have found several wide AMs between the years of '98 and 2000, but I want to be absolutely sure with a microscope. They're not like this. They're certainly not like this. I've got maybe 5 or 6 on the desk, and when I get the scope, I'm going to take pictures of them, and I'll post them in a video. Here's another example. Also, here's the wide AM, and here's the close AM. I want to talk about a few other things as well, but the years of '92, '98, '99, and 2000 to look out for. The '98, '99, 2000. You want to be looking for the wide AM. The '92, you want to look for a close AM, but as I said, there's only been a couple, to my knowledge, that have been found. Uh, this is a much wider. I've got one that appears to be about that wide. But anyhow, here's some other things I want to talk about. Double dies, of course. This is the famous 1955. And the gentleman I first started collecting coins with, who introduced me to collecting coins back in '66, had two of these. One about like this, and the other one was what they call a poor man's double die. It wasn't quite as aggressively doubled. This is the 1969S. Now, again, you're coin roll hunting pennies. Why pull out the wheats? You save 10 wheats, and whoop-de-doo, you're not going to have a whole lot to show for those 10 weeks, except for the fact that they were found, and it's kind of exciting. But start looking for these coins, because this is where the money is. You're going to make more money if you are in it to buy and sell. If you're in it to collect, these are the coins that you want to hang on to. Uh, Wheat pennies, just there's no real market for them anymore. A lot of people are just strapping them for copper, the common dates, because they're really, unless they're in mint state. And that's the other thing too. Quantity versus quality. You certainly want quality over quantity. There are a lot of people that will go out and collect some about good or maybe very good coins. If you're purchasing coins, look really, really hard for the better grades at a better price for you too. Because if you want just a filler to fill in an album, maybe you're trying to make a complete set, I can understand that you would just find a nice coin, a decent coin. But quality is where it's at. This is something I really, really was really brought to my attention. I was pretty heavy into world coins as well. At one point, I had well over 200,000 world coins, and I was buying them in bulk. And I don't mean these bulk sales that you see on eBay, because most of those coins are junk. They're just common everyday coins from different countries. But I dealt with a man, Bill, who owned Frontier Golden Coin in Phoenix, and he's since passed. And I think this guy was probably one of the most knowledgeable coin collectors I'd ever seen. And I learned a lot through him. And I was buying different quantity of American coin. And he sat me down one day. He said, you're spending between $150 and $300 a week on coins, and you're buying in quantity. Why don't I? He said, I'll tell you what. He threw a couple. I remember the first time he brought this to my attention. He put a Colombian Exposition half in front of me, and it was Gem BU. This coin was absolutely beautiful. And I looked at the price. I don't remember offhand what it was. And I'm looking at it and thinking, holy cow, that's my whole week's coin purchasing power. And I'll tell you what, in the long run, it pays off. To have a whole bunch of coins that are in good or very good condition is nice. But get up there into the mint state 60 or above. And with proof coins, do your homework, do some research, look on the internet, and see what is trending, see what holds its value. Because a lot of coins, they don't move. There are a lot of coins out there that haven't moved in price in 20 or 30 years. Maybe a few cents here and there on either side of the scale. But double dies, 69S, that's another one. I see an awful lot of 69S's. I don't see any double dies. I've yet to find one. And again, remember, really, really check these coins out really good, because there are variations in the doubling. Some are extreme and some are a little bit light. It might not be the entire date or the entire wording on the coin. Here's a 1972, and I have pulled out more 72s this past month and a half that I could even count. If you'll notice on this one, it looks just like it's the one here is really doubled to the left. Well, either way, but it's a good example. But this one here, you can see the doubling. It's an extremely beautiful double. 1972 Philadelphia penny. And believe me, I don't know, where I live in Western New York, there are tons of them still in circulation. I just haven't found a double die yet. Here's a better example of the same one, actually, with the In God We Trust and Liberty. Look at this Liberty. I mean, even with my old naked eye, I could see this if I had one. And this is a major double die. This is a great looking coin. And this is a 1983. This is the DDR. This is the reverse. Look at this. Now this is what you should be doing because there are tons of these in circulation too. And I don't mean 3 or 4 or 5 per box. I'm talking dozens per box, at least what I'm finding. In the last, well, I'm gonna get up for a second here. I want to take a look at this one box down here. I pulled out 1982s to separate the small date and large date. And this is, I think, from I think I started putting them in this box 4 boxes ago, and I don't know. I can't see my my screen from here, but there's at least probably 350 of them, and that's out of, I wouldn't say more than 6 boxes, 5 or 6 boxes. But you know, you got to start looking for these. Don't just pull the wheats out. You're not going to make any money on wheats. 1960, 60 and 60D small dates. You can see the difference. You can see the difference in the 6, especially in the 6. And the O. This O is a little bit fatter, a little bit rounder. And this is the 1960. This is a proof coin. Excuse me. The 60D. Now, on a smaller scale here, it's easier to see that. The difference between the 6, the O, and the 9. The 1, you know, well, it doesn't really matter. Once you see it, once you've seen 1 or 2 of these, you're gonna certainly spot it right away. Same thing with the 1982, which should be coming up here. But you know, this is where it's at. This is what you want to be collecting too, not just wheats, because I see some of the collectors on YouTube, and I'm certainly not. I'm not saying anything negative in the way you search, but by just pawing through coins and looking at them, you're not doing yourself any justice. You're not really accomplishing much, except you're finding wheat pennies, and you can find 10,000 wheat pennies, and which is you know, $100, and you can sell them for $350. You know, there's not a lot of profit in that. Here's a 1982 large date and a small date, and you can really spot these. And I don't even know. Well, I do know. I pulled out the small dates from that box, and there is probably, I threw them in the top of one of my jugs that I throw my copper in, and there's probably 75 of them here or so out of the last 4 or 5 boxes, something like that. And here's a better shot of the small date versus the large date. I don't know. I kind of like this picture better. And you notice that the numbers are a little bit thinner too, especially the deuce. The 2 is much thinner on the small date than it is on the large date. And okay, that's a quarter there. We're gonna talk about them some other time. I don't want this video to get too awful long, but you know, that's the whole thing, is what I'm saying. You really need to jump into coin roll hunting, and you might be pleasantly surprised if you continue to pull out the wheats, you know, throw them in a box, whoa, throw them in rolls, whatever you're going to do with them. But pulling these other coins out to look at them for wide AMs. You know, some of these wide AMs, if you look on eBay, look up a 98 wide AM, and that's been graded. They're going for some pretty big bucks. So with that, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'm going to do a couple more of these videos. I collected for so long, and I learned so much from some of the greatest collectors in the country, and I'm really enjoying it. I wish I had really gotten into it a few years earlier. Yesterday, or the day before, Saturday was the first time I found an Indian head in penny roll hunting. Indian heads were probably 10 a bag back in the 60s, but hey, that's what happens as time goes on. People start snagging everything out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.